first of the Protec Shock Sports Specials Championship races was an absolute cracker. Let's see if race 2 can live up to that. Well, Paul Boyd, Clive Hudson and Paul Collingwood in his Silver J15 were on the podium earlier on today, but it's good to see that Eddie Ives has repaired the damage from race number 1. He's back out there on pole position with Clive Hudson next to him, Paul Boyd and Dave Caldercourt on the second row of the grid as the lights go out and the race gets underway. A fantastic start once again from Patrick Mortel from row 7. This time it was on the inside of the track, so he was had to actually cross the circuit to find this way clear on the left-hand side of the track. Obviously it's something he's got quite comfortable with doing that. It's a little trick he's worked out for himself. You can see the Jaguar D-Type replica going through of Tim Fauci, number 69. He's a bit further down the order. It's Caldercourt that's got into the lead of the race, though. From the outside of the second row, he's going to be pretty much alongside Eddie Ives as they head down towards the left-hander at Palmer for the first time of asking in what's going to be a slightly shorter race this time, we think. Over 10 minutes plus 1 lap. We are on board with Clive Hudson. He's going past Dave Caldercourt, who's already dropped down to second behind Eddie Ives. So Clive Hudson, who led for so much of the first race, is up to second place here behind this Elite Pause, a car that's takes styling cues from the Lotus 7, but is a completely new chassis design by Eddie Ives and the team at Elite Motorsport Engineering. A lot of hard work has gone into the design and build of that car. They've been working on it for quite some time. There's been some blood, sweat and not a few tears shed as well as they've developed it, but I think they've now found the right combination of chassis and engine, and it's gone really well at Brands Hatch and here at Snetterton, possibly slightly to Eddie's surprise, as we see the Westfield of the Tiger, I should say, of Gary Davison. That was the green car go through, but down towards us as they come at Brundle. It is Eddie Ives leading then in that Elite with the 2-litre Duratec power plant. In second place is Clive Hudson. Then there was a gap back to the third position man. There is number 51, you can see, which is Paul Collingwood, just ahead of the green Tiger of Gary Davison. Third place at the moment, well, I think that's being held by Caldercourt. We're going to check on that in a moment. We go back on board though with Clive Hudson in the Eclipse. He's just behind race leader Eddie Ives. Ives, who qualified well at Brands Hatch in damp conditions. We thought maybe that was a one-off, but he did well, getting podium finishes and class wins in both of the races there. A non-finish in race 1 here. But who knows, he could even get an outright win. We need to watch out for Paul Boyd. He's at a blistering pace in race number 1. He's in 4th place at the moment, just behind Dave Caldercourt. Nick Holden, it looked to be in 5th position. Here comes Patrick Mortel, with John Moore just behind him. I think John will be very much encouraged by the performance that the FRS Arrow is showing here at Snetterton this weekend. A new car for the 2014 season. So we're on board with Patrick Mortel. That's the 33 car of Steve Dean, who used to race in 750 Motor Club Hot Hatch back in 1995. He also raced in Formula 4 as well, more recently switching to kit cars, which is now known as Sport Specials. So on board here with Mortel. Nigel Brown now just ahead of us in number 6. And here is Alan Robson, and somehow all of the MEV MX150Rs, the cars with the Mazda MX-5 running gear, have managed to get themselves together. Now, this to me looks a little bit organised. It looks to me as if they're almost having a rolling start amongst themselves at the start of the second lap. If that is the case, then Alan Robson has made quite a nice start there and has got past one of the other MEV MX150Rs, which I think was that of Mickey Scott in car number 58. But yes, they somehow, I don't think it was coincidence, all found themselves occupying the same piece of tarmac at the beginning of the second lap of the race. And why not? There's about 9 of them, or someone goes skating off down towards the old runoff at Searcorner there. Now that's the Montreal hairpin, of course. And down towards Palmer we go, on board once again with Alan Robson, who runs the MX-5 racing series that we'll see out in a few weeks' time at Castle Combe. Already been out at a couple of meetings this season at Donington Park and Brands Hatch. Through on the inside there goes the number 50 car with Russell Clark from Seaford down at the Agostini hairpin. And yeah, they're having a bit of fun, aren't they, the drivers of these MEV MX150Rs. I think that looks like Kevin Dengate and Chris Lovett, who were the quickest drivers in race 1. They're at it again as someone goes a little bit wide there, coming out of Hamilton and down towards Oggies. Meanwhile, back in the main part of the race, if you like, where you can see that group of cars has come through. Next through is Nigel Brown, then it looks like Steve Dean, then you've got Patrick Mortell and John Moore in the FRS Arrow. And those two cars actually seem to be quite evenly matched, although very different in concept. One with the Toyota running gear, one with the bits from the Ford Fiesta. As contending for the lead of the unofficial MEV MX150R class, you've got Dengate and Lovett going at it, and then you've got the next couple of cars through, which includes the number 78 car, which is Stuart Much. This is the predominantly white car that you can see there. He's running in third position at the moment, just ahead of number 42, which is Darren Griffin, who's fourth place amongst the MEV MX150Rs that are enjoying their own private battle here. Up towards Murray's then comes the class leader, if you like, that is Kevin Dungate, a stalwart of Mazda MX-5 racing for some time, so is indeed Chris Lovett, number 76. And good to see them out enjoying themselves in the MX150Rs. We're on board now with Alan Robson as they come past the pits. You get a bit of a toe in these cars. They're a bit boxy in their shape. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, Eddie Ives is leading and Clive Hudson is giving him quite a hard time. Actually, there's not too much to choose between the two. He's lapping much faster than even the fastest of the MX150Rs. They've been doing 2-minute 21s. As here is the battle between number 7, Anton Lanzon, who's right behind now number 11, John Moore, as they come to the bomb hole. This is towards the bottom end of the top 10, this battle at the moment. Patrick Mortell up ahead. Now Paul Boyd is chipping away at the advantage of Clive Hudson here. Well, this is more or less what he did in the first race, Paul Boyd. He found a lot of speed towards the end of the race, got on terms with Clive Hudson and made a move right towards the end of the race. Hudson just making a bit of a mistake there, I felt, at Montreal. The back of the car stepping out as he exited the corner, tried to get the power back down. I think that's lost him a bit of ground to the race leader, Eddie Ives. And you can see Eddie now making his way past the spectator banking down towards the left-handed hairpin at Agostini. They're in amongst the back markers now, the slower MEV MX150Rs. Paul Boyd there in the yellow number 3 car, taking a lot of time out of Clive Hudson, a fancy, as they went into the hairpin that time. Now through Hamilton they will come. That's the left-hand flick. The right-hander that tightens up on you a little bit as you go through it is August. That's the next corner. There's Patrick Mortell. Another exoskeleton type car, different type of idea around the chassis construction. He loses out there to John Moore. More conventional bodywork on that car, but some bodywork that looks very smart and sleek indeed. I'm sure there'll be more interesting, more cars to be constructed for that. And John certainly has ambitions for the FRS Arrow, which you see ahead of us to have its own one-make championship in due course. There's number 51, Paul Collingwood, who was on the podium in the earlier race. I don't think he's going to be there this time. He's in 4th place at the moment with Dave Caldercourt and Nick Holden, who finished 4th in race 1 behind him. Now there is the car of number 3, which is still in 3rd place, Paul Boyd. The Eclipse SM1 for the drive from Toaster. Both Paul and Clive come from Northamptonshire. And they go now on to their last lap, with Eddie Ives a little bit further up the road. We're hoping that he can hold on for just 3 more miles of this Snetterton layout. Back markers ahead though, are they going to come into play? Well, I think Ives did lose some time there lapping John Potter's car, and that's allowed Clive Hudson to get right onto terms with him now. Through the Montreal hairpin they go, and the gap is down to only a couple of car lengths. Good speed carried out of the corner by Hudson. Palmer isn't really an overtaking opportunity though, but get the corner right, you'll carry good speed down the straight into Agostini. He's close enough to pick up a bit of a toe here from Eddie Ives. He jinks now to the right-hand side of the circuit, so he's looking to go the long way around Agostini, maybe getting the cutback on the exit to the corner. He'll apex the corner that a bit later. We'll see how that shakes itself out in a moment as we see this battle further back, which involves Mark Bowd in the GT40 replica and a couple of the Sports Specials cars as well, as they go on to their final 3-mile lap of this Snetterton 300 circuit. Well, it's still Ives ahead, but Hudson now is alongside him. as they make their way along the Bentley Straight. I think he's used the toe there to get past Eddie Ives and leads into Brundle for the final time. So Clive Hudson on the final lap takes the lead of the race away from the man from Chelmsford in Essex, Eddie Ives. And Ives has got to be careful here not to lose third place as well, because Paul Boyd is right behind him now. The three of them, you could almost throw a pocket handkerchief over them, couldn't you, as they turn their way through Coram. More slower cars up ahead. I'm not sure if they'll catch them though. So is it going to be Hudson, or can Ives fight back, or possibly even Paul Boyd? They jink past that back mark, who possibly even is going to head into the pit lane. Ives gets a good run out of Moses. He's in the tow. He dives out of the slipstream now, pulls alongside, but just Clive Hudson holds on by 6/100ths of a second, and Paul Boyd takes third place. And it's going to be a bit of a wait back to the fourth place battle, which is still raging on. Well, Paul Collingwood is going to take fourth, fifth and sixth side by side, though this time David Caldecott just gets the better of Nick Holden in a reversal of the fortunes from race 1. Well, here are the results then. As I say, just 6/100ths of a second separating first and second. All three cars covered by just over 6/10. Paul Collingwood a further 15 seconds back. This time the Class B victory, well, that went to Colin Benham, the reigning champion, getting onto the scoreboard as far as class wins are concerned for this season. Well, Clive, reversal of fortunes this time. You've managed to beat him.
Well, yeah, it just kind of went my way, really. It wasn't the plan, but if I had planned it, then following Eddie around, who is really fast around here, he taught me how to drive around it, and then the back markers worked for me, and I got past him. So, yeah.
That was good. I think as well, we're looking at the lap times. You found a second or so from your earlier race as well. Did you really feel that it was that guidance that Eddie gave you that really helped there?
Eddie was a lot of help. This is only the second time, which is only today, that I've driven around the longer circuit, and it is a very technical circuit. You've got to get it right, otherwise it costs you.
So what's that? 2 wins apiece now between you and Paul, I think, isn't it? So looking quite exciting for the championship.
It is. It's looking very, very promising for Eclipse, certainly. So let's hope somebody else in a different class isn't stealing all the points.
Okay, well done, Clive. Eddie Ives, second position for you, having led the early part of the race.
Yeah, it's a great race. A bit of a shame earlier in race 1, doing quite well, and then having a wheel arch break, and we had a wheel arch break in the second race, but managed to cruise it home. But yeah, fantastic race for the Eclipse boys. No one put a foot wrong. So yeah.
Clive reckons that he was sort of following you around and sort of learning the lines here.
Yeah, we've done a fair bit of testing here, so yeah, we'll see going into Rockingham.